Good morning. Welcome to our gentle yoga class. Today we are on the third yama, which is called Asteya, and it means non-stealing. So just take a moment to either find a comfortable seat or feel free to lie on your back. Take a moment to settle in, tune into your current state. Maybe just taking a moment to relax into the present moment with some deep breaths. And just check in with your nervous system for a moment. Where are you at today? As you begin to tune into your breath, you can start to cultivate this idea of an intention. An intention in yoga is something we want to cultivate, something you might want to either practice or even let go of, release. And then we'll turn our attention to this idea of non-stealing, Asteya, in the book by Deborah Adele, Yoga's Ethical Practices. She says, if we stop long enough to gaze at what is laid out before us, to let the mystery of beauty and the wonder of the seasons sit deeply in our soul, our hearts cannot help but burst forth in thanksgiving and gratitude to life itself. Inborn in this kind of wonder is gratitude for where our lives came from and indebtedness to the future. And she includes this quote by Albert Einstein that says, 1,000 times a day, I remind myself that my inner and outer life depend on the labors of other people, living and dead, and that I must exert myself in order to give in the full measure I have received and am still receiving. And I realize I read it as 1,000. He really said 100 times a day. That seems more reasonable. 100 times a day. So take a moment to sit with any of those ideas. Think about if you would like to cultivate some kind of intention for your practice today. Maybe that intention is one of gratitude, Asteya, non-stealing, gratitude for our ancestors. And then let's make our way to start in a seat. So find a comfy seat. You could have a pillow or a blanket stacked up. You might even try sitting on a chair if sitting on the ground is uncomfortable, but I have a nice big bolster and a blanket underneath my seat. Feel free to cross the legs or extend the legs long out into a V shape. We're going to start with a breath practice. So, thinking about the 8 limbs of yoga, 2 of those limbs are the yamas and niyamas, yoga's ethical practices, and then 2 more are pranayama, breath practice, and asana, which is, don't tell me, it's the yoga movements that we think of as yoga, is asana. So go ahead and bring your, um, you can try with your right hand if you like. I'm going to just cup my right elbow with my left hand to give it a little bit of extra support. And then you can bring your hand out in front of your face. We're going to do, it's called Nadi Shodhana. It's alternate nostril breathing. So for this, I'm going to bring my peace fingers on my right hand to rest on my forehead, just as a little anchor of support. And then you're going to be closing down the alternate nostrils, one with your thumb and one with your ring finger. And you don't have to anchor your fingers on your forehead. You could just kind of have like a little hang loose with your hands and bring your first finger and your ring finger into your palm. I kind of like that sensation of resting them on my forehead. And we'll start with closing the right nostril with the thumb and exhaling all of the breath out through the left nostril. And then you can breathe deeply in through the left nostril. At the top, you'll pause, closing both nostrils. So you have the ring finger on the left, the thumb on the right, and then you can release the thumb and exhale all of that breath out through the right nostril. And then we'll breathe in through the right, pause at the top, closing both nostrils, and then when you're ready, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left, close the left, pause, and then exhale through the right. Inhale through the right, pause, and exhale through the left. And you can keep going just like that, following the pace of your own breath. See if as you do this, you can notice if there's any tension creeping in to the jaw. Can you relax the hinge of the jaw? The next time you exhale through the left, go ahead and release that by bringing your hands to rest in your lap, taking a moment to close the eyes and just notice your nervous system now. How do you feel in the brain and in the body? And I will say, I learned this in, of course, the yoga classes I've taken. And there was a time when I went to the doctor and I was feeling anxious. And of course, my heart rate and, or, when they take your, what is that? They take your blood pressure was a bit high. And so they told me to just sit and relax. And so I decided, well, why don't I try that breath? And the next time they took my blood pressure, it was, normal. So just putting that out there, I thought that was kind of an amazing story of yoga and how it can help our nervous system. So let's stay seated for a moment. We're going to stretch through the neck and through the spine. So go ahead and bow your head towards your heart, gaze down at whatever intention you set in your heart center. Just imagine what that intention might look like. We call these yamas and niyamas jewels. So maybe you can think of that intention as a jewel, and then just to go ahead and softly, gently begin to rock the head side to side, finding some stretch through the neck. Go slowly, softly. No need to force or crank the neck. Breathe into the areas of tension or holding and invite those areas to soften. Take one more nice deep breath on each side. And the next time the head falls towards the heart, you can lift the gaze back up to center, and we'll start some nice gentle shoulder rolls. You can shrug the shoulders up towards the ears, round them back and down behind you, gliding the shoulder blades down the back. See if you can breathe into those spaces that might also feel tense or sore. Maybe we can offer them gratitude for the work they might have done to support us. And then when you're ready, we'll reverse the direction of the shoulder rolls. So if you were rolling them back, you can roll them up towards the ears and down around in front. And then when you're ready, you can soften here, and then we'll bring the hands to the shoulders. And you bring the fingers down in front, the thumb behind. And we're going to take some twists. So inhaling to the left, exhaling to the right. Feel free to go at your own pace. Maybe it would feel good to go slowly or to use a little bit of momentum to ring out through the spine. You could even start to speed up the breath to match your movement. Start to slow it down and come back to center. Release your hands into your lap. Maybe close down the eyes or soften the gaze. And then we're going to do some cat and cow. You can stay seated for cat and cow, or if you prefer, you can come to hands and knees. So if you're coming to hands and knees, if it's okay with the knees, you could even find some extra padding. So I've been taking some classes with a teacher who's using a bolster or pillow under the knees. So I'm going to try that out for some extra padding. For this, I'm going to tuck the toes under for a little bit of extra support and some stretch through the bottoms of the feet. And then you can either plant your palms on the ground or on blocks. We'll inhale to lower the belly for cow pose, the belly, yes. And then exhale to round into the spine for cat. Go ahead and follow the pace of your own breath. If you're seated, you're arching your spine forward, lifting the heart for cow, exhaling to round the spine for cat. You could also find some generous belly rolls, maybe some barrel rolls, imagining you're tracing the inside of a hula hoop. Feel free to change it up, the movement, allowing yourself an opportunity to explore at your own pace. Maybe your head and neck want to come along for the ride, allowing for a little bit more rotation. The next time your belly button comes forward, see if you can pause and then change the direction of your spirals. And whenever you feel ready, we'll meet back up in a neutral spine. And then go ahead and take your time. We're going to make our way onto the belly. If you want to do a tiny bit of strength building on the way down, maybe you take a plank pose. So you can come onto the knees and moving that pillow out. You might bring yourself onto your forearms and just take a moment to hover the belly over the earth, drawing the belly button towards the spine. Whenever you're ready for a rest, you can land the belly, untuck the toes, stretch the legs back behind you, rest the elbows underneath the shoulders, and then energetically draw the palms back as you reach the heart forward for a Sphinx pose. Go ahead and take your gaze down towards your hands, and then on the next exhale, you can peek over towards your left shoulder. Take a nice deep breath here. And then with your next inhale, come back to center. And with your exhale, you can peek over towards your right shoulder. Take a nice deep breath on this side. And then on your next exhale, go ahead and come back to center. And you can either stack your fists or stack your palms. Lower your forehead down to rest on support. And just take a moment here to soften all of your effort, relaxing into the support of the earth. Feel the rise and fall of your back body and the support of the earth beneath you. When you're ready, we'll come back up into Sphinx, and we're going to get ready for a little bit of a twist like thread the needle. So I've been doing thread the needle on the belly just to avoid being on the knees, but you can do this in hands and knees if it's okay with the knees. So I'm just going to show you an option. You can roll a little bit to your right side to bring your left knee out to the side for a half frog pose. And you could stay right here. Maybe this is enough sensation. Or I'm going to include a thread the needle twist. So pressing into the right hand, you can weave the left arm under, and then I'll use a block For underneath the head, you could also use a pillow here to bring your head down for support. You have the option to either just do the leg stretch for half frog, or maybe just do this twist for the upper body, leaving the frog leg out of it, just keeping the legs parallel. Send your breath into your twist. Notice where you can soften. And when you're ready to come out of the side, press into the right hand to bring the left elbow underneath the shoulder so your upper body is in Sphinx. And then you can roll a little bit to your right side to free your left leg long. Let's take a moment to pause unwinding from that twist in crocodile pose where we were before. So either stacking the palms to lower the forehead down, or if that doesn't feel high up enough from the ground, you could always stack the fists. Allowing yourself to come back to neutral, allowing the tissues to refresh with fluid. And then when you're ready, we'll come back into Sphinx for the other side. So just bringing the elbows underneath the shoulders. You can roll a little bit to the left to free the right knee out to the side for that frog leg. You could stay right here. Maybe this is enough sensation. If you want to bring that twist in for the upper body, maybe you skip the frog leg and just do the twist. You're going to press into the left hand to make some room to weave the right hand underneath. So the right hand is coming away from the knee, and then maybe you bring a block for the head or a pillow. Some place to rest your head so that you can allow yourself a chance to sink into support. Taking some nice deep breaths through the nose, we're cultivating the warrior's breath. Sometimes getting comfortable being uncomfortable. And to cultivate the ujjayi breathing, the warrior's breath, you start to seal the lips, keep some space between the teeth. Start to breathe in and out through the nose. We'll take one more nice deep breath here, and when you're ready to unwind from your twist, you can press into your left hand, bring your right hand back underneath, so your elbows underneath your shoulder. You can roll a little bit to the left to free the right leg, to stretch it long, and then take a moment to pause in crocodile, Makrasana. Stacking the palms or the fists, allowing everything to unwind. You can rest your tops of your feet on your mat. Allow your heels to fall to the sides. Rest all of your effort. Then we're going to get ready for a counter stretch, a little bit of a chest opener. So make sure that you have nothing beside you that's going to be in your way. We're going to be rolling onto the side. So I'm going to move my blanket out of the way. You can open your arms into a letter T shape. Plant your left hand underneath your shoulder. Stretch your right arm behind you and then start to roll open. So you're stacking your body onto the right side. I'm going to use the block underneath the head for support. You can leave the legs stacked as you open through the shoulder of the chest. Remember, you don't have to roll all the way onto your side. Go to where you feel your edge is, and then maybe back off from that edge 10%. Take a nice deep breath into the chest, into the shoulder. Where I'm resting my block on my temple, it feels like a nice gentle massage there. It's like look around in the body, search for any areas that might have extra tension or holding. See if you can soothe those areas with your breath. Let's take one more nice deep breath here. And then you can roll back onto the belly. And we'll get ready for the other side. So stretching the left arm directly out to the left, placing the right hand underneath the shoulder. You can creep the left fingertips behind you as you roll on to your left side, any amount. Maybe bringing the block underneath the head for support. Think of yourself as an explorer, searching for those areas of tension in the body and bringing in your breath to help soften, to help soothe. Take one more nice deep breath. And then when you're ready, we'll roll back onto the belly. Take a moment to pause in your crocodile pose. And something I hear about a lot in my everyday life is anxiety. It's part of the human condition, it seems. One of my favorite teachers mentioned that this pose, Makrasana crocodile, is a great pose to help soothe the nervous system. So we might just tuck it away into our memory. Next time we're feeling anxious, we might feel like we could take an opportunity to rest and pause, taking some breaths on the belly. Noticing how we might have the tools to help ourselves self-soothe. Take one more nice deep breath here and then exhale it out through the mouth in a sigh. And these sighs also are another tool that we can use to help soothe our nervous system. When you're ready, we're going to come up to standing. So go ahead and plant the palms underneath the shoulders. You can roll the shoulders up towards the ears and then glide them down the back. Press up through tabletop, and then you might make your way to downward facing dog, or just skip that altogether and come to a forward fold. So feel free to grab blocks. You might step 1 foot forward towards your hand and then tuck the back toes under to lift the back knee. And then go ahead and walk your feet in towards each other. Maybe giving a generous space in between the legs for your torso and your belly. You can wrap your hands around your opposite elbows and take a moment to hang heavy with a generous bend in the knees. Allow yourself an opportunity to ragdoll here. You might even practice saying yes and no and maybe. Letting your head shake no, letting your head nod yes, and letting your head find a circle for maybe in one direction and the other direction. And then we'll come back to center. Release your hands either to your blocks or your shins. We'll walk the feet a little bit inward towards each other underneath the hips, and you can press into support to lift up halfway. Exhale to forward fold, and then we'll inhale, bend the knees, sweep the arms out and around, and you can rise up tall to standing, drawing your hands into your heart center. Feel free to adjust your clothing as you see fit as you arrive, and then find yourself in a standing mountain pose. We call this Tadasana. Take a moment to breathe into the heart center, glowing that intention, that jewel, radiating it from the heart. And then when you're ready, we'll sweep the arms up towards the sky, reach up, and then you're going to bring the right hand forward, the left hand back, coming into a twist, rainbowing the hands down and around. And then we can come back to center, inhale the arms up. Go ahead and split the arms. This time the left arm comes forward, the right hand reaches back. Inhale back to center, reach the arms up. A few more times in each direction. Little twist. One more time each way. You could start to peek behind you as you twist. And then inhale, we'll come back to center. Bring the hands to meet at the heart. And then you can float the arms up towards the sky. Open your arms wide to the sides. And we'll think about as if we were going to give someone a nice big hug. So I'm just going to step back so you can see the top of my head, hopefully a little bit too. From here, you can stretch your heart forward, reach your arms back, and then we're going to bring the right arm on top of the left for that nice big hug. You can rock your elbows a little side to side for that twisting motion. And then when you're ready, we'll come back to center. You can keep your arms in this hug Or if you'd like, you can wrap your arms into eagle arms. So I kind of prefer the hugs a little bit more spacious. From here, you can either try balancing or maybe a little bit of strength building coming into a chair pose by bending the knees, sinking the hips back, drawing the belly button towards the spine. So this would be for your strength building. Or maybe you want to focus a little bit on balance. So we're coming into Garudasana, eagle pose. If you were standing in your mountain pose with your arms crossed, you could start to bend um, or lift your left heel so that the balls of your toes are on the mat. You could stay here, focus on rooting down through your right leg, or maybe you step your left heel on top of your right foot. Just practicing a little bit of balance. Find a dristi, a soft gaze, a focal point to help you with balance. On the next exhale, we're going to be in this eagle perch, drawing the elbows down towards the knees, then float the arms out wide, step the feet out, and you can shake it all off. Letting the arms kind of graze your sides, swinging them side to side. And then when you're ready, we'll come back to center, come back to your eagle stance, your mountain pose. We're going to try that on the other side. So go ahead and stretch your arms out wide to the sides. Think of somebody you feel grateful for as you beam your light from your heart. Then imagine you were going to give them a nice big hug. This time, your left arm is crossing over the top of your right arm for that generous hug, and you can rock the elbows a little side to side. From here, we'll come back to center and either you can stay right here or sink into your chair, Utkatasana, or we could focus on balance. So standing up tall like a mountain, you could start to peel your right heel off of the mat, stretching through the foot, rooting down into your your left leg. And then maybe you even challenge your balance a little further by stepping the right foot on top of the left foot. See if you can find a soft focus, a point on the ground that's fixed or at the sky that's fixed. We call this a dristi. On the next exhale, you can start to perch down like a bird, and then we'll step the feet out wide, step the arms out. This time, take a little punch side to side, punching the arm forward at a diagonal. And when you're ready, we're going to come back to center. Let's come into our warrior two prep now. So this one is going to be like standing on a tightrope. So you can step your right foot forward, left foot back, bend into that front knee, and maybe heel toe the back foot. So you can find as deep of a lunge as you want. You can make this, of course, more challenging by making it wider. You can make it less challenging by backing off. See if you can melt yourself into center. Bring your hands on your hips. Find yourself rooted in center. And then you can turn your gaze towards your right toes and float your arms forward and back. Feeling that connection behind you, your gratitude for your ancestors, the support of your past. Feel yourself rooted firmly, strongly in center as you hopefully look towards the future. On the next exhale, we're going to surrender our weapon, so you can drop your back hand to the back of your leg or wrap it around the back of your low back, flip the front palm, and reach the hand up. Looking up, reaching for something bigger than us. This divine play, a power and strength greater than us that supports us. And we look up with hope and gratitude. On the next exhale, you can bring your arms back into your warrior two. We'll sweep the front arm, bring it down to the front thigh, or you can just lean your hand into that. You can reach your other hand up towards the sky or up and over past the head for extended side angle. On the next exhale, we're going to spin that hand all the way down. You can reach for your blocks or maybe the seat of a chair, and then pivot that back foot. So now your feet are on train tracks. And you can lift the heel, so on the ball of the back foot, and start to glide the hips forward and back in your high lunge. And then we'll start to hop the back foot in towards the front foot. So you can come into your forward fold. You might widen the legs, making room for your belly, your torso, and take a moment to just hang heavy here. Maybe wrapping your arms around your opposite elbows and just gently ragdolling, swaying a little side to side. We'll come back to center, press into your legs or to your blocks. You can heel toe your feet back underneath your hips or towards that, and then we'll inhale here for halfway lift with a flat back. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, find a generous bend to your knees. Sweep your arms out to your sides, and we'll rise up tall to stand. Exhale, draw your hands into your heart center. And take a moment to pause in your mountain pose, Tadasana. Take a moment to close down your eyes and sink your awareness into your heart center, observing your intention for your practice. When you're ready, you can blink your eyes open. We're going to get ready for the other side. So I'm going to move my blocks so I can still face you. Move the blocks to the front of the mat. Step the left foot forward, the right leg back. Imagine you were balancing for a moment on a tightrope. So really this warrior two position can be a balancing pose. You'll turn the torso so the upper body is facing the long edge of the mat. You can bring your hands to your hips. Bend any amount you like into that front knee, tracking it towards the toes. Lift the heart, sink the shoulders down away from the ears, glide them down the back, and then you can float the arms forward and back as you peek over your front fingertips. So turning your gaze to the left. Feel that support and connection to your past, gratitude for your ancestors. Feel yourself deeply rooted in the present with a gaze towards your future. Something you might feel hopeful about. And then we'll land the back hand on the back of the thigh or reach it around behind you. You can lift your front hand up towards the sky. Maybe lift the gaze. Feel that connection from your heart towards something greater than you. Exalted warrior or peaceful warrior. And when you're ready, we'll exhale, coming back to warrior two, and then find your extended side angle. So either leaning on that front hand, you can, or front thigh, you can bring the forearm to the front thigh, reach your top hand up towards the sky or alongside the ear. On the next exhale, we'll spin the hand down, pivot so that you're on the ball of the back foot, and your feet are now on opposite rails of a train track. You can take a moment to glide the hips a little forward and back. And then when you're ready, hop that back foot in to find your forward fold. Maybe this wide-legged fold. You might once more wrap your opposite elbows. From here, we're going to make our way onto the ground. So you can plant your palms on blocks. You could find padding, extra padding for the knees. You might step the feet back for downward facing dog. And then maybe you soften your knees onto the ground and find a child's pose. I did want to offer a supported child's pose here. So if you have a bolster or blocks, you might stack your blocks to make, I have mine on the low setting. Maybe I'll actually turn one on the medium setting, one on the low setting with some space in between, and then bring a pillow or bolster onto the block so you can lower your torso down. And you might turn your head to rest one cheek on the mat. So my big toes are touching, the knees are open wide. Because I have the space of the blocks, I'm actually able to weave my hands underneath the pillow and kind of give a hug to the pillow. If you're resting one cheek, you can stay here for a few breaths. And then when you feel ready, you can pick up your head, turn your opposite cheek to rest on the pillow. So this would be like a supported child's pose. Helping to bring the earth up to you. Allow the heart to melt forward. This is just one of many variations. Take a moment to really rest heavy in your child's pose or whatever shape feels supportive and comforting to you. And then we're going to make our way onto our seats. So take your time. You might clear off some of those props out of the way. You can walk forward on your mat, climbing forward on hands and knees, and then turn over onto your seat. You'll want to possibly be close to some furniture or to a wall space. So if you want that for your figure four, let's move closer to that. If you have like a couch or wall that you're going to use for your figure four, we can also use it to help us with our boat pose. So I have my feet tucked under the couch, and then lift your arms and start to lean back. Whenever you're ready, you can hug your knees in towards your chest and come onto your back. So for the boat pose, just doing a little bit of core strengthening on our way down. Once you arrive on your back, you can walk your feet as wide as your mat, if your mat is there, or just as wide as you imagine your mat to be if you've moved off of your mat. And then just allow your knees to gently windshield wiper from side to side. We'll move towards that wall space if you'd like to use it for your figure four. Or since I don't have the wall, I'll use the couch. So just waddling my way a little bit side to side, shimmying close enough so I can put my feet on support. My feet are in 90-degree angles, right angles. Okay, so then you can extend your legs long, stretch them out at a diagonal. Go ahead and take a moment to maybe rotate the ankles. Start to breathe into your support, calming yourself down from any exertion. And then we'll start with the right side. So you can bring the right ankle onto the left thigh and then draw the shape in towards the body to find that stretch for the hip. Now you could also, if you don't have a wall space or furniture, you could weave your hands behind your left thigh and draw the shape into you. And if your hands don't reach, you could also use a strap behind your left thigh to help draw the shape closer. Allow yourself to settle here, thinking about that gratitude and thanksgiving springing forth from the heart center. Allow it to circle down towards the hip joint. You can make this stretch a little bit deeper by flexing the right toes and either energetically or physically pressing the right knee away from the body. Now you're welcome to stay right here, or if you like, we could turn this into a twist. So this would be totally optional to bring the whole entire figure four leg shape down towards the ground. So your right foot is going to travel to the left side of your body. Your left leg is going to find the ground, and you might even reach down with your left hand to grab hold of your right ankle, extending your right arm out to the side for a twist. Remembering that everything is optional. If you're holding on to your right ankle with your left hand, you might go ahead and just give a little bit of a massage to the ankle, side of the foot, top of the foot. And if this figure four twist doesn't work for you, you can always unwind the figure four shape and just simply stack the knees for a gentle twist. Perhaps turning the gaze over towards your right hand. Take one more nice, deep, generous breath in your twist. And we'll come back to center, coming back onto the back. Take a pause to let yourself unwind from your twist. And then bringing your legs onto support, you can extend your legs long. Take a moment to rotate your ankles. And we'll bring the left ankle now onto the right thigh and draw the shape into the body, bending the right knee. Maybe flexing the left toes a bit towards the knee. You might even press the left thigh and knee away from you, either physically or energetically. If your mind starts to notice variations from left to right, you offer yourself compassion and curiosity. It might feel good to gently rock the shape a little bit side to side. And if you like, you can turn this whole shape into a twist by allowing the figure four to travel to the right. Oops, there's a block there. Landing maybe your left foot on the ground. You might reach for your left ankle with your right hand. Turn your gaze over towards your left hand. You could offer a gentle massage to your ankle. And if the figure four twist doesn't feel like it's working for you, feel free to just continue to stack the knees, coming into a soft supine twist that's on the back. Take your time to soften here. When you feel ready to unwind from the twist, you can come onto your back. You might come into a happy baby, bringing the knees in towards the armpits. You could wrap your hands behind your thighs, or you could walk your hands up to your ankles or calves, or maybe you want to reach all the way for your feet. And in your happy baby, go ahead and rock a little bit on your back. You could rock the shape over to balance on one knee. You might land on the right knee, hug the left foot in, or extend the left leg long. Then roll onto the left knee, extend the right leg long. Allow yourself to feel playful here in this happy baby shape. If there are any last poses that are your favorite that you want to include now, I want to invite you to include those. One thing that might be nice to try since you're right here, possibly at some furniture, would be to take part or all of your final resting pose in this gentle inversion. So draping the legs onto the couch or extending the legs up the wall can be a nice way to find a nice gentle inversion, turning ourselves upside down. Start to close down the eyes or soften the gaze, softening through the jaw and the cheeks, the throat, shoulders. Sweep your relaxation down the arms, down the trunk of the body, the torso. Soften through the belly. Allow your hips to relax. And then sweep that relaxation down the legs. You can feel free to stay in your inversion or come into your shavasana for your final rest. And we'll pause for a moment of quiet relaxation. If we stop long enough to gaze at what is laid out before us, to let the mystery of beauty and the wonder of the seasons sit deeply in our souls, our hearts cannot help but burst forth with thanksgiving and gratitude to life itself. Inborn in this kind of wonder is gratitude for where our life came from and indebtedness to the future. I am reminded of the native wisdom to make all decisions as if they mattered, 7 generations into the future. My ancestors sacrificed so much for me. They endured hardships beyond my comprehension, with only one thought, that of the upcoming generations. They literally gave their lives to create beauty on the earth and better times for the future. I realize the incredible love that my life stands on. Remembering our ancestors and the mystery that brought us into being is a way to reframe the sacredness of our own lives and the sacredness of the lives that will come after us. It is to find ourselves as current caretakers in this lineage of past and future lives. It is to find ourselves with our direction pointed towards those who will come after us. Albert Einstein said 100 times a day, I remind myself that my inner and outer life depend on the labors of other people, both living and dead, and that I must exert myself in order to give in the full measure I have received and am still receiving. Take a moment to deepen your breath, breathing in that gratitude, breathing out any resentments, tension, holding, letting go of what no longer serves you. Take 3 more nice deep breaths like that. And then you can start to invite some gentle movements into the body by wiggling the fingers and the toes, gently rotating the wrists and the ankles. Go ahead and find a nice long body stretch, reaching the arms past the ears. And then take a moment to roll onto one side, cradling yourself there in a fetal position, supporting your head with the structure of your upper arm. When you feel ready, you can press yourself up into a seat. Slowly, gently make your way to a seated position, inviting your hands to meet at your heart center, in a gesture of gratitude, Anjali Mudra, allowing your heart to rise up towards your hands. And then when you're ready, you can humbly allow your head to bow towards the wisdom of your loving heart. It's such an honor and a privilege to have this opportunity to guide you through your practice. So I want to thank you, each and every one of you, for being here with me. Feel free to let me know if you have thoughts or questions about class.